The moment I realized my first flip had too much pressure on it. If you're preparing for your first flip now and you feel like the weight of the world is on you, this is a story I wish someone had told me. I believe that real estate should reduce pressure in your life, not be the thing that creates it. And I didn't fully understand that until I was already in the middle of my first flip. In the next few minutes, I want to share with you what actually made my first flip stressful and why that experience is the reason I built the Ambition Accelerator. This experience caused me to create what I call the pressure load principle. This is how much emotional and financial weight you're putting on the single deal. If you'd like a copy of this principle, just comment pressure load below and I'll send it to you. For those who don't know me, I am Sandra J. Connor. At the time of my first flip, I had a full-time job, I owned rental property, I had income outside of real estate, and even with all that, my first flip still carried far more pressure than it should have. I'm not sharing this to scare you. I'm sharing this so that you don't have to go through what I went through and you don't have to learn it the hard way. On paper, the deal made sense, but real life showed up fast. I don't know if you've ever had to remove popcorn ceiling. Let me tell you, it's an absolute nightmare. And this popcorn ceiling was caked with nicotine, which made it that much worse. The age of it and the nicotine made it almost impossible to remove. This is a huge problem for us. So we watched a lot of YouTube videos. We asked everyone we could. We bought tools. Yet every day I felt like a failure. I felt like I was in over my head. They make it look so simple on TV or on the videos. You know, they just spray the water on the ceiling and you just scrape it right off and it just peels right off so smooth behind. Well, let me tell you, that does not happen every time. So real life hit fast. I never had to work so hard in my life. Delays started stacking up, which meant pressure started stacking up. It took weeks, if not months, to just complete the ceiling. And we still had all the other tasks to do to get the house on the market. And I was trying to get it on the market within 30 days. So that put pressure on me as well, having a timeline. Then we had to replace cabinets that we didn't anticipate. Then there were delays with repairing the pool. Costs did not move in a straight line. I purchased, which now I've learned, I purchased the appliances the same time I purchased the cabinets. Well, when you get a hard money loan, you cannot request a draw until the appliances are actually installed. So I bought appliances at the beginning of the flip and then I could not put in for that draw till the end of the flip. That was a huge expense that just came out of my pocket and then I couldn't get the money back. And then I had to come up with the funds to do all the other repairs, the floor, the paint, the pool, the landscaping. Everything kept building up more and more pressure. And it stretched the timeline. Decisions started feeling heavier than they should. And what surprised me wasn't the problem, it was how personal everything felt. Every delay felt like a threat. Felt like I was never going to finish the flip. Every unexpected cost felt louder than it should. It caused a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of doubt. I had a little voice in my head that kept saying, you can't do this. What were you thinking? You're in over your head. You're going to lose everything. Let me tell you, you cannot stay calm and make good decisions from that state. If you're in that state, you're basically in a tiz. You're just running around in a panic. You're not able to make good decisions. You cannot stay calm. Your body's releasing the stress hormone, which is counteractive to your thinking. You go into a room, you're like, what did I come in here for? What was I doing? That's when I realized something important. The deal wasn't bad. The pressure load was way too high. Too much of my emotion was tied to the outcome of this first flip. I was thinking that this was setting me up for all the future flips. You know, that this had to be successful because how can I do it again if this one isn't successful? That's the wrong thought process. You need to go into it thinking this is a learning experience. This is just to build confidence on your first flip. So this is what happens to a lot of first-time flippers. They don't fail because they're careless. They struggle because their first deal is carrying far too much pressure, too much expectations that they should never have put on themselves. Most people think the solution is better numbers, better contractor, more education. But that's only part of it. What I needed wasn't hustle, it was less pressure. Not only did I have delays, but my tenants were unable to pay their rent during this process. I did not anticipate having a lack of income from my passive income. And I also didn't anticipate everything costing more. I didn't anticipate all of the costs going up so drastically. I didn't anticipate the market changing so drastically. When we bought the house, it was a seller's market. And within a few months of getting this house on the market, the housing market is crashing right now. It is becoming a buyer's market, and houses are sitting up to 90 days, if not longer now. When I bought the house, they were selling same day, multiple offers, basically getting whatever you wanted for the house. Now, you may not have the same issues that I had, but life has a way of happening. You could have your car could break down, or you could have a problem with your house, your roof could leak, or your HVAC could go out, or heaven forbid, you could have a health issue or an injury. Anything could cause a shift in your finances and your income. And this, having a membership or having a side income, creates a smooth flip for you. And it prepares you for when life happens. So here's my solution. You need separate income from the deal. Remember, I had a full-time job, had rental income, I had other income outside of real estate at the time of this flip, and it still was not enough because my tenants weren't able to pay their rent unexpectedly. Remember, life happens. And without pressure, you're able to make better decisions. I may have made different decisions about the cabinets or about the pool or anything along the way had I not had all the pressure at the time. Second step is build stability before scaling risk. Predictable income outside of the deal creates a calm inside the deal. With a calm mind, you're able to ask yourself better questions. And if you're able to ask yourself better questions, you're able to get better answers. What I mean by that is if you're all stressed and you're all panicked and you're thinking that you're a failure, that little voice going on in your head that we all have, then you're asking, these are the questions you're asking yourself. How stupid are you? Why did you do this? Why did you think you could do this? Instead of saying, okay, here's the problem. We need to buy cabinets. What's the most cost-effective way and the quickest way that we can get this problem solved? I'm going to give myself a much better answer with that instead of, oh my gosh, you cannot make this decision. Just go with the first thing because you just need to keep it moving. See what I'm talking about? Totally different frame of mind. Step 3 is protect yourself from doing the deal. Step 3 is protect yourself during the deal. Because again, stressed investors don't make better decisions. Calmer ones do. I could have had more sleep during the flip and a much more relaxed experience had I been able to have more income during the process. This experience is why I built the Ambition Accelerator. So this horrible experience for me is a benefit to you because now you can learn from my mistakes, and that's what a wise person does. I built this not to teach you how to flip faster, but to help you remove the pressure before even making your first deal. If you're preparing for your first flip and it already feels heavy, that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It usually means you're carrying too much weight on that decision. Your first flip should build confidence, not anxiety. Real estate works best when it reduces pressure, not when it adds to it. If I could go back and change one thing about my first flip, it wouldn't be the deal. I would definitely still do the deal. It would be how much pressure I put on myself during the process. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. I hope you got benefit from it. Please leave me a comment and let me know what side income you're going to create, and hopefully it's going to be a membership. Thanks a lot. I'll see you tomorrow.